Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here today to share with you a fascinating story about a movement related to climate change. Institutional investors are finally, and in a very serious way, entering the game of action. They are increasingly tackling climate change-related risks and on a large scale. The truth is that this major shift has taken place only recently, I would say over the past 18 months. 4 important developments have contributed to this movement. First, investors are increasingly incorporating climate risks into the standard risk management approach. We know that short-term markets are not taking carbon-related risks into account. But as Governor Carney recently noted, there are at least 3 families of risks: physical, liability, and transition risks. Polluting companies and companies holding fossil fuel assets are particularly exposed to these risks. The risk on fossil assets stems from the very simple fact that current reserves by far exceed the carbon budget for the planet. So motivated by the fiduciary responsibilities, profit maximization, risk minimization, institutional investors are now understanding, analyzing, and reducing their exposure to climate risk. And there's a trend spreading. 120 investors with $10 trillion US under management have already signed the Montreal Pledge. And they are thereby committing to publish their carbon footprint. The second force in place, financial innovation. There are some new solutions available. Low carbon indices is one. They aim to break the so-called tragedy of horizon, i.e., how can we manage a risk that has unknown time horizon and most likely exceed what is regarded to be a standard investment horizon. Low carbon indices aim to reduce the carbon risk in the long run without impacting market returns in the short term. They are simple, low cost, straightforward, and transparent. And this accelerates the transition towards a low carbon economy. Now we also have green bonds. They are promoted by leading banks. Green bonds accelerate the funding of projects dedicated to low carbon economy. And as Christine Lagarde recently said, green bonds will reallocate investment to sectors that support environmentally sustainable growth. Third force in place, the sharing of best practice. Portfolio Decarbonization Coalition was founded by UNEP, CDP, AP4, and Amundi, and launched during the 2014 Climate Summit in New York, under the umbrella of United Nations. PDG has 2 goals. First, to bring together the doers, i.e. actors who are taking concrete action to deal with climate change. Second, to send a signal to other asset owners that portfolio decarbonization is feasible. The bar was set very high, a target of $100 billion US to portfolio decarbonize. And by the end of COP21, this figure will reach more than $600 billion. And all the different approaches will be included in the report published later on. With these achievements, PDG sends 4 strong signals or messages. First, to the investor community, to tackle risk associated with climate change is feasible and scalable. Second, there is diversity on pathways to action. Third is the signal from the investor community to society, we are getting serious about acting on climate change. 4, we are moving from billions to trillions. Let me finish by the last major force at work for the wake-up call among investors. In Brazil, in China, England, Sweden, and France, policymakers are exploring various measures to accelerate the mobilization of asset owners. France is leading the pack with a new law that asks asset owners to report on their assessment to their exposure to climate change-related risks. All in all, this means that whether you manage money in Rio de Janeiro, Abu Dhabi, Beijing, or Sydney, you cannot bury your head in the sand anymore. And it's now part of the new norm for a long-term investor to come up with an answer how to tackle climate change. And remember, we are only at the beginning of this journey, a journey through which financial systems can be aligned with sustainable development goals, including the fight against climate change. Since Christmas is coming up soon, I have 2 wishes that I would like to share with you, and it's on behalf of my kids and grandkids. First, deliver a meaningful agreement. Second, put a fair price on carbon. To conclude, financial sector is ready and is already acting. And remember, the billions mobilized today will be trillions tomorrow. Thank you.